Subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss an update from First Post.
The more I've talked to boys and men when we've shared stories of things that have happened around us, they seem utterly shocked that this can't be. I want everyone to realize that beyond the notion of equality or who's superior, that there is a question of choice as well. Like, you're a man, I'm a woman, the choices that you have should be the choices that I have.
Right.
Simple. Unless I say no, which is, I guess, what all of us are striving for with consent and Me Too. So I think if anything emanates out of patriarchy, men and women have both taken it upon themselves. They've become part of rivaj and custom. If even today you are doing it out of choice, कोई आपके सर पे नहीं नाच रहा है, you like doing it, you want to do it. Like customs have changed face, right? Like now men are fasting with their women. More power to you boys. So whenever you're not feeling oppressed or whenever it is that भाई ये मुझे करना है, like no woman will say I want to jump into the fire, है ना? Readily, मतलब खुद से. No, that's not. So that was also a parampara. But if a woman says this is part of my custom, I enjoy it. This is part of my, my womanly feeling. I want to do this for my husband, for my family, for husband. I don't think we should get in the middle of that. But yes, there are lots of things that have only stemmed from years of being told कि तुम्हें ऐसा ही करना है.
This is what a woman should do.
That will, fortunately, unfortunately, take a little more than Twitter mongering. There's a lot of stuff that happens. I feel like whenever I look at social media very often, I feel like ये लोग ढाल कमीज पहन के मतलब they're and sometimes you have to do it. You have to put your point across. You have to talk about it. But I don't think it is by warring with other women or warring with each other. You're looking for a solution, then find the solution. To me, empowerment has always been choice. When you let, again I'm saying let without meaning let, but when you let men and women be equal in spaces that they can be, want to be, you're home free. The ability for a female or a woman to be able to just enjoy herself, get out there and be like, today all I will care about is conquering the world or like finishing this present or just doing that one thing that we are thinking about everything else. भाई ये पदर ठीक है ना? भाई वो कैसे देख रहा है मुझे? अच्छा टैक्सी वाला छेड़ेगा तो नहीं? अरे बाबा now I have to go to the other station. Will I get pinched? Our worries, when a woman's worry and a man's worry for the day is the same, I believe we will be truly empowered. Seriously. How do you become a celebrity? You become a celebrity because a lot of people are backing you. I am a voice because of the things I've said and because so many people resonated with it. Do I have an obligation to continue to do so? It's very me dependent. Why do I say that? Because also with, again, social media coming in and so many ways of people getting in touch with you, we get to hear everything. We get to know everything that everyone is saying about us. It's not, and you may go out there with the best of intentions, but someone has pulled you down. We've heard this in every Me Too case. You get asked, अभी क्यों बोली? इतने वक्त से क्यों नहीं बोल रही थी? इसको क्या गरज है बोलने की? अरे इसके इंडस्ट्री में तो ऐसे होता ही है. We have heard so many things that pull you down, that a few voices with guts and gumption will come up there and say, I don't care, I will tell it like it is. But very often celebrities also are soft targets. Like for example, Deepika Padukone, they threatened to cut off her nose, गर्दन काट देंगे, ये वो बोल दिया था. Who's standing up for her? There's so much you heard around that thing. But there has to be a little push from the good side as well. If you're, like I'm going to say, if you're on the good side, and if you constantly allow the other side to, because that's the nature, right, of the other side. The nature of the other side is to silence you, to stifle you, to finish your voice. But you have to understand that there are enough good people that will back you. Maybe not right now on that tweet. Maybe not on that Instagram post. But eventually what you're doing, and if you're doing it with the right intent, I'm a huge believer in the right intent. It does pave the road to hell sometimes. But I'm a huge believer in the right intent. And I really believe that celebrities should stand up more and slowly pick that cause that they really back. Don't make up something for the next promotion. Pick it, because if your intent is correct, you will be able to back it. Anything from the change of the practice of sati to air travel did not happen overnight. It takes time, but what does it also take? It takes people behind anything.
Yeah.
And I can tell you this more than anyone because, as we know, my world famous song of the potholes was really just a song talking about what the common man is going through.
Yeah.
It became political, it became
Yeah.
noisy, it became, it was groups against groups,
Yeah.
and that was not.
Your intention.
वो इरादा तो
perhaps.
था ही नहीं.
Yeah.
हाँ, वो इरादा तो था ही नहीं. But what changed? The first year, there was flack. The second year, there was work. The third year, there will be more. And I hugely believe in the power of conversation, in the power of the voice. I am living example. There are a lot of men who come up to me and say, I don't know how to be with a woman. I'm like, decent. Just be normal.
Yeah.
Hashtag Main Bhi is a very carefully culled out list of stories because we wanted to represent almost every area where a woman could be eve-teased, molested, raped, made to feel uncomfortable. All these words have come up recently. So we thought the time was ripe. Like I've always said in any post that I put up or whenever I talk, it is an attempt to go beyond what the traditional Me Too stood for or the controversies that came with it. It is to just start a conversation and for men and women both to realize what next or who are we or how do we deal with this situation. There are a lot of men who come up to me and say, and I'm sure lots of this conversation has happened before, that I don't know how to be with a woman. I'm like, decent.
Just
be normal.
Yeah.
And learn.
Yeah.
If someone's telling you something, listen
Yeah.
and learn and get back into the system and say, hey, that was a problem. I will change. It's fine. It's changing times. Like till 10 years ago, maybe a little longer, when you spoke about being gay, it was a huge problem, right?
Yeah.
Today it's an inclusive community, even though you will have problems here and there, but people do talk about it. We are more accepting. There are voices that are raised alongside them. So same thing, it's a conversation period.
Yeah.
And so we thought, let's take it beyond. Let's take it to the masses in a way where it is not only cross city or cross country, that it goes across the world.
Yeah.
And people realize that they are stories of empowerment. They're stories where you realize that these are not things that are just relegated to the film industry. It's not just it happens in one industry. Oh, ye bade log. Oh, ye media circles. It's not like that. It happens everywhere. The idea to do hashtag Main Bhi came up even before it blew up on social media. To me, even when I'm recording the stories, it becomes very unbelievable. I'm like, no, this didn't happen. They're like, Arey Baba, this is exactly what happened. This Padhaku girl who gets invited by her friend to come home to study. And on the rasta, on the way there, she gets chedod. So, matlab, chhed-chhad hoti hai. And these are all real stories. I want to reiterate, real stories, real women. So she goes on to her friend's house, and while they're studying, the bell rings, and then she realizes that the guy who was saying these horrible things to her on the road is her friend's brother. Yeah. So now we've come to a space where this is a very close friend whose brother has done this. So how much can I reveal? How much can I say?
Yeah.
Is it okay to bring? A lot of us would be like, let's just bakheda hi nahi khada karte hain, let's move out, chalo. What is even worse is that when you think that, suppose I'm your friend and your brother has walked in and realized, oh, I was teasing or I was eve-teasing this girl. Ideally, in this situation, you should be like, oh, let me get out of there. But what he continues to do is, he finds her alone in the house, it's a large house, and he films her while changing. This while her sister is at home. So, to me, even when I'm recording the stories, it becomes very unbelievable. I'm like, no, this didn't happen. They're like, Arey Baba, this is exactly what happened, And it's a totally... And that license that men have taken, and again, I want to say not all men, but that license that is subconsciously, I think, in a lot of men's heads, to say कि कौन क्या कर लेगा? वो बहन भी तो मेरी ही है. कौन आवाज उठाएगा? तो मैंने ले ली इसकी फिल्म. अब क्या होगा? Now she will be embarrassed. Now I can hold her to ransom. And this is not one story. We've heard this again and again.
Yeah.
So this story particularly, it was, I got goosebumps when I did it, and even now, because people tell it back to me and are like, did that really happen?
Yeah.
My aim also through this is कि हम घुटे नहीं. When you don't talk about stuff, it shows in other areas of your life.
Yeah.
And women are constantly battling with this. They're constantly, you don't know, you're putting on a smile, but you don't know what went on, जिसकी वजह से this triggers you, or you are unable to sleep at night, or you look at men suspiciously. Like there is one story in this where the woman does not allow her little girl to hang with the cha-cha. And the husband is completely like, what is wrong with you? And then she talks about when she was 5 years old, how the man who gave her ice cream and, molested her. And that's why she can't trust this man who has done nothing.
But it's just conditioning, yeah.
These are women. I mean, I need you to understand that I believe that men and women in conjunction, we are 50-50%. वो, like we say, जननी होती है, माँ होती है. You have to protect her the most because her values, what she believes, her fears, that also transfers on. And the only reason I feel comfortable enough to say these stories is because I've spoken to so many women over the past few months and years. And it's not my shame anymore. It's not like, before this it was like, shucks, ये मेरे साथ हुआ, किसी ने देख, बस पे 15 साल की लड़की के साथ ये आदमी कर रहा है. You know, feeling me up, and I had to jump off a moving bus and nobody saw it. But so many women have told me the same story. If I don't put it out there, and as you earlier referenced, as a voice, as a celebrity who has a voice, if I don't put it out there, how does that 5-year-old or that 15-year-old or that 21-year-old or that 40 or 60 or 80-year-old know that it's okay? It's okay to talk about it and say no more, that we will not put up with it. Teach your men.
Yeah.
Tell your women. Teach your men. I mean, and so maybe is that attempt, my audio show on Jio Savan. I hope that more people listen to it, and I hope that they share their stories, and I hope that they feel, superbly empowered and know that they're not alone.
Yeah. It's been great. More power to you on that. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting. Thank you.
Thank you.